What is the best approach to seeking? Well, the best approach to seeking is simple and also it's free. Um, because there are many approaches, and I think the approach is something you can dress up, isn't it? You can call it whatever fancy name you like to call it, whether it's TM, whether it's Buddhism, whether it's Advaita, these approaches to inquiry. You can dress these up and you can also um, wear them. You can identify with them. You can create an image out of it or an identity. But funny enough, all these approaches point at one thing as the main position. They require a certain position. Okay. For instance, if you look at Buddhism, the central position of Buddhism, it doesn't matter what content you learn in Buddhism. It doesn't matter what technique, whatever, there is one central position, and that is meditation. That's meditation. So if you then look into something like Christianity, it says, remain as I am, remain as I am, or, repent, remain as I am. And in Buddhism, it says, practice non-attachment and meditate. And repent is to turn away from the world. And only awareness can turn away from the world. So there we have it. There we are. Awareness becomes a central position in Christianity. They call that in some you know sects of Christianity, what we call the Christian mysticism. They call that contemplation or the contemplative stance. But again, it's just awareness, isn't it? Everything. Why is it that everything points at awareness? Everything. And yet, what's pointing at awareness is the thing that you dress up in, the thing that you wear around your neck, the thing that you have written on your head or on your t-shirt or written on front of the book that you're reading. Yeah, it all points at awareness. Whether it's Christianity, whether it's Buddhism, Hinduism. Hinduism says, we must learn to discriminate, sadhana or whatever they call it, where you learn to discriminate awareness from the object that appears. Again, the central position is awareness. Yeah. And if you look at that, if you look at awareness and you start to discriminate awareness from appearance or thoughts or feelings or anything, you come to see that you see that it's permanent. It's permanently abiding. It's not doing anything. Yet, that's the doing. That's the doing. But it feels counterintuitive, doesn't it, to the mind? From the psychological context or perspective of experience. Psychological, there's an I that claims the experience. Psychologically, you experience things, and it's given to this subjective idea of you being a body, you being a psychological entity and emotional entity, and all of these things. But if you kind of turn away from all of those objects, if you turn away from those things that appear, behind it all is just awareness. And what is that awareness? You come to see that it's actually not someone being aware. It's prior the condition of you that arises out of it. That's the you. But prior that condition, it's just awareness and it's non-personal and it is no one. That's the interesting thing. And that is the best approach to inquiry, is the best approach any spiritual practice because there's no one practicing it. It's the central position of all religions, all spiritualities. Um, so yeah, awareness is the best way forward. It's free as well. You actually don't need anyone to tell you. Well, maybe you need someone to tell you. But once someone points their finger at it, it's for you to then discriminate that from everything else. And when you're able to discriminate that awareness from everything else, then you can come away from the psychological body or the emotional body, the physical body. You can actually relate from the emptiness body, the knowing body, the awareness, pure consciousness body, whatever. And you come to see that it is that begins to experience reality. You can only experience reality through that emptiness, through that awareness. You can't do it by the inferred meaning, such as your psychological understanding, your emotional apprehension, or your physical experience. You can only come to know reality through that emptiness, through that awareness. You've got to come away from the world, which means come away from the mind. See the mind as a condition that is known. And then you can distinguish the knowing of the mind and the mind. You see, here we, again, it's awareness becomes a central position of experience. That's where you begin to learn, where you begin to understand from that perspective of awareness. And so, yeah, awareness, it's free, costs nothing. Um, Remain as that and just see what happens.